What's going on? Welcome to View the Right Thing, and Winning Time is a dope docuseries, but it ain't a documentary, and because of this, a lot of players are feeling a certain way about their depictions, and one of them is Jerry West. He's super mad about being portrayed as, well, super mad, and he says that he's been slandered by HBO. Now, HBO is like, slander? Don't you see that disclaimer at the beginning of every episode? So what's the truth? Today we're going to separate fact from fiction and hash out if HBO is slandering a literal icon for shock value, or if Jerry West was more wild west than he'd like to admit. Winning Time portrays Jerry West as an out-of-control, intoxicated rageaholic. He's tortured by his wins and even more so by his losses, and because of this, he tends to torture everyone around him. He breaks things, he screams as he breaks things. In the show, he's driven to win at all costs, and even tells Magic that the secret to success is to be a stone-cold killer. In reality, West says that his portrayal is deliberately false, and he's got players like Kareem and Michael Cooper on the record backing him up. But others disagree, and HBO is quick to point out that one of those others is actually Jerry West himself. Back in 2011, Jerry West released an autobiography that depicts a way less sympathetic Jerry West than the one we see in the show. It's called West by West, My Charmed Tormented Life, and that should be your first clue as to how Jerry feels about himself at the time. And if you need another, the first chapter is actually called Climbing Up from the Abyss. And in it, we see a dude that self-describes as unhappy with success. Nasty, a guy whose personality and game came from a dark place. He even refers to having a demon-filled mind and is filled with rage and self-hatred. In the HBO series, Jerry West is shown as being unable to watch the games because he can't control them. He's shown breaking golf clubs and getting into screaming matches with everybody. And all of that is right out of his own autobiography. And Charmed and Tormented seems like the right title for a book on Jerry West because even though he's won everywhere that he's gone, the truth is that he's had beef everywhere that he's left too. Even though he helped build the Lakers dynasty from Showtime all the way up to Shaq and Kobe, that ended sour. And then he goes to Golden State and does it again with Steph Curry and the Warriors, and again he leaves under a cloud. From there, he lands with the Clippers, and it didn't take long for West to use some of his nastiness to get Kawhi Leonard. Sports writer Bill Plaschke even describes West as a guy who'd build a team and then run away from it. In fact, to my eye, Winning Time Jerry West comes off as way more likable than the Jerry West he describes in his book. So no, Jerry, that retraction ain't coming, but why would you even want it? His is the story of a kid who comes from the hollers of West Virginia to beat all odds. He pulled himself from the depths of childhood abuse and became one of the most successful execs in all of professional sports history. As much as his former players may want to protect and whitewash his legacy, I don't think it's necessary. His legacy doesn't need protecting because real recognizes real, and real hoop fans are not surprised to see that kind of thing from a champion. From MJ to Kobe to Jerry West or even a guy like Tom Brady, only casual fans are surprised at what they see when they get a close look at an apex athlete. I don't think we need to sanitize the heroes of yore to understand them in the modern era. People love Jerry not because he's flawless, but because he is flawed. And his flaws humanize him in a way that represents the fans. It shows the grit and the beating heart that represents the league. Matter of fact, now that I think about it, that's a lot of representation for one dude. I wonder if we can get that guy on a logo or something. If you like the content, hit that like and subscribe, then ring the bell and leave a comment. It helps the channel a lot. Thanks for watching View the Right Thing. Peace.